Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Eric, and this is Cloudhopper. In the previous episodes, I flew the Bonanza and the TBM 930. Today, we're going to be flying the Cessna 414 Chancellor. Big fan of this plane, and we're going to be flying from Olympia, KOLM, to Port Orchard up to the north, which is KPWT. Based on the weather tonight, we are going to be taking off from Olympia and then flying to Port Orchard and landing on runway 20. So that's what we're going to be planning for today. Let's go ahead and get the bird fired up, and then we'll go ahead and check weather and get underway. Just going to do a real quick systems switches check, Go ahead and turn on the nav. Battery's already on. We'll go ahead and get the gen switches on. I'm going to get some lights on in here too, so we can see what we're doing here. Let's set up a little higher too. There we go. Left motor mag 1, 2. Right motor mag 1, 2. Mixture prop full. Go ahead and crank the throttle a little bit. I am only playing with when I move my throttle here, it moves both of them, so that's just how we're going to have to do it. Normally we do it individually, but work with what we got. Go ahead and prime the left motor. We're going to start the left motor first because that is the motor closest to the battery, so I want to get that one started. Get some electrical power going. Push the crank. Motor lights off. Oil pressure rising. This is the gauge we're looking at right here. So we got oil pressure, oil temperature, and cylinder head temperature. That's what we're monitoring. And we'll do the same thing with the right motor. Prime the right. And push the crank. Look at the gauge here. Oil pressure rising. That's what you want to see immediately. And then the cylinder head temperature and the oil pressure temperature will be rising. Let's get the engine sitting at about 1,000 RPM. That's where I like to have them sitting on startup and let them warm up. Get some fuel monitoring on, and we'll get the avionics switch on, get the rest of the system fired up. Let's go ahead and tune in weather. It's 135, 725 here in Olympia. Looks like just a little bit of precip out there. Let's listen to weather, see what's going on. Oh, we missed by 1, so it's 135, 725. Must have clicked that over just a little too quick.
Mike automated weather observation 0700 Zulu. Wind 215 at 4. Visibility 10. Sky condition, ceiling 1,800 feet broken. Temperature, trees Celsius. 2.10 Celsius. Altimeter, trees 001. Kilo Oscar Lima, Mike automated weather observations.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to be taking off on runway 17 out of here. So it's right there. We don't have to taxi too far on this airfield to get there. So always thankful for that. Let's get our flight plan dialed in here. Today we're taking off from Kilo Oscar Lima Mike. going to Kilo Papa Whiskey Tango. And for procedure, we're going to be setting up for the RNAV runway 20. It's based on what the wind is doing. And we're going to go direct low fall. Go ahead and load that. Initial heading of 354, so we'll set that up over here. There we go, 354. And since we're going to be heading to the west, we'll go ahead and set our altitude to, let's see, go somewhere even. We'll say 8,000. 8,000 is a good number. And should give us something interesting to look at. It is a cold evening, so I did want to make sure that I had a plane tonight that was capable of handling any ice that we may encounter, because we just might. All right, so we have our altitude set, our GPS set. Let's go ahead and do a final systems and switches check. Pitot heat off. We'll save that for the runway. Taxi. We'll get that going on in a second. All this looks good. All this looks good. We'll go ahead and set up cabin pressure to, if we're going to be at 8,000, we'll set this to 4,000. It's 2, 3, set that to 4, and we are set to pressurize, so that is good. Gauges all look good. That's set, heading's good. Today we are going to be doing, let's take a look here at the available departures here. Let me pull this up. I believe it is there it is, yes, the KOLM 5 departure. Looks like taking off for runway 17, we're going to turn left, climb heading to 064 to 3,000, and then for radar vectors on course. We won't be talking to any actual controllers tonight, so we're just going to go ahead and simulate all of that. But we will do that departure. We'll take off, we'll fly up to about 800 feet, turn that left to 064, make sure not to cross 3,000, and then turn left on course up to low fall. All right, let's get this bird going. Taxi lights on. We'll go ahead and leave the interior lights on, then we'll turn those off once we get over to the runway. Brakes off. Clear on the left, clear on the right. Waving goodbye to our ground chief, ground crew there. Make sure we don't want to hit him. Take a left. See you later. Real quick brake check. Brake check is good. One of the cool things that I like about the Chancellor is that the taxi light is attached to the nose wheel steering, so when you turn your nose wheel, the light turns with it. Super cool. Okay, we're going to hold short here, runway 17, do our final checks, make sure we're set up for takeoff. Pitot heat's on. Let's get stall vent and heat switch on. Cabin heat, yep, cold night. Let's go ahead and cabin fans, we'll just leave that right where it is. De-ice surface, don't need that yet. De-ice light, de-ice prop, don't need any of that stuff yet. Electrical anti-ice, we'll go ahead and leave that on. Strobes coming on, landing lights coming on. This all looks good. Cabin pressurization set. 200 feet for the radar altimeter. 200 set, altimeter set. This all looks good. Got a little bit of fuel. We got enough to get up there. We'll refuel once we get there. Cowl flaps are closed. Yaw damper is off. And takeoff is set for trim. We'll go ahead and get lights off and get going here. Mixture props full. Clear on the right. Clear on the left. Let's get going. Again, we're going to take off. Runway heading, climb up to 800, and then left heading 064, and then we'll go ahead and get on course after that. All right. Nice in the center. Go ahead and hit the brakes here. Going to run it up to 2,000, final gauge check. 2,000 looks good, gauge is green, everything sounds good, looks good, feels good. Brakes off, full throttle. Maintaining center. Airspeed is alive. 50, 60, 70. There's 80, looking for 85. There we go. Rotate. Good positive rate. Tap the brakes. Gear coming up. Let's go ahead and turn the yaw damper on. .800 feet. Looking good. Go ahead and turn left heading 064. Dip that nose down a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and bring manifold pressure down a little bit. We need to be screaming out of here. And there's the airfield we just took off from. See you later, Olympia. Alright, coming up on 064. We didn't bug this, but we are paying close attention. Alright, at this point we would contact Seattle Approach and say, Seattle Approach, Chancellor 8487 Bravo Hotel is 1,900 for 3,000 heading 064. And then they say, Chancellor 8487 Bravo Hotel, turn left on course, climb, maintain 8,000. We'll say, climb, maintain 8,000, left on course. Thank you so much, 8487 Bravo Hotel. Get us back to max manifold pressure, and we'll turn left on course. Taxi landing lights coming off. And we're going to go ahead and intercept our course to low fall. So it looks like our cabin is pressurizing just fine. Everything's looking good here. Just want to make sure that, you know, if we had any passengers, they would actually be comfortable. But looking at it, we actually didn't bring any with us today. Real good night for some IFR flying. Got some good visibility out there tonight, but then once we get a little higher, we're going to get into this cloud layer. Outside air temperature looks like we're just a little bit below freezing right now at our altitude, so we'll just keep an eye out for ice. I'm going to go ahead and square up our heading bug here, and then we'll just maintain this current pitch. Until we get up to 8,000. Look off our left side there, you see downtown Olympia, South Puget Sound area. Soup off to our right. Looks like some nice clear skies up there, up towards Shelton in that direction. Getting pretty close to intercepting our course up to low fall. So we'll just make sure to keep our eye on that. It's our 1,000 foot warning to 8,000. We'll go ahead and start getting ready to open up our cowl flaps. Just about there. We're here at 8,000, so we'll go ahead and give ourselves a little bit less power here. A little less on the RPMs. We'll go ahead and hit the nav to intercept our course. And still hovering over our controls in case autopilot decides to do something crazy, but it looks like it's doing just fine. Let's go ahead and reduce our RPMs down to about 2,400. Manifold down to about 31, and then we'll lean out our motor just before peak here. And cowl flaps coming open. And prop sync on. Just to keep ourselves ahead of the flight, let's go ahead and tune in 121.2. That's going to be the automated weather over there in Port Orchard. Let's go ahead and listen in. Let's see what they got for us. A little traffic out there.
Wind 188 at 12. Visibility 10. Sky condition ceiling 1,700 feet overcast. Temperature 5 Celsius. Dew point 10 Celsius. Altimeter 2997. Kilo Papa Whiskey Tango automated weather.
So based on the wind, it sounds like we're still going to be taking runway 20, and we should expect just a little bit of a left crosswind, but nothing that should be knocking us around too much. Let's get that heading bug squared up. Let's go and check our gauges. Everything looks good. Cabin pressure looks good, altitude's good, autopilot settings are good, heading bug square. Prop sync's good, RPMs manifold are good, 23 gallons per hour on each motor, EGTs look good, and motor settings all look good, or motor monitors look good. Cowl flaps open, yaw dampers on. We're looking good. Ground speed currently indicating 214. And I'm doing an indicated airspeed here of about, it looks, about 185. Yeah, about 185. It's a pretty good little tailwind there. It says we're going to be getting to low fall in 9.5 minutes, so. Once again, thank you for joining me on tonight's flight on Cloudhopper. If this is your first flight with me, thank you for joining me. My name is Eric. I mostly fly VR, but I do have some actual flight hours, and this is just kind of what I do to fly where I don't have to spend any money. So, thank you once again for joining me, and I'll check back in with you once we get close to low fall. in preparation for the approach, it looks like, let me go ahead and pull up the approach plate for the RNAV runway 20 real quick. And it looks like they want us at 3,400 by, well, that's kind of a hard one to pronounce, Gitry, I'm going to say Gitry, and then 2,500 by Wumox. So 2,500 is basically going to be our main target there. And we'll get our VNAV set up. So 2,500 by Wumox. Let's go ahead and take a look here, VNAV. And we're going to go 2,500. We'll say 0 miles because we want to hit it right there. Scoot over, there we go. 3, 2, 1, 0. And Wumox is already set. So now we just have to skip it and say we want to do about a 1,500 foot descent down to it. Feet per minute, I mean. So say 1,000, we'll say 1,400, that works. And it says we will begin our descent in 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Looks like we got the Olympic Mountains off to our left there. You know, I was actually expecting to see a lot more cloud cover up here. And it's actually turning out to be kind of a nice night. You know, the other night when I was flying, you couldn't really see much because there was no moon, but the moon is giving off quite a bit of light tonight, so I'm pretty thankful for that. Gives us some nice things to look at. Look at those mountains out there, huh? Get our ice light off. Not really going to be needing that. You know, I gotta say, the 414 Chancellor is an absolutely fantastic plane. And I've actually been in a 414 in real life before, and the owner of it had actually changed out all of the steam gauges for an entirely glass cockpit. And I get it, you know, I get the whole glass cockpit thing and how easy they are to use and user-friendly, and they look cool and sleek and everything. But for the 414 Chancellor, and really any of those 400 series big twin Cessnas, I just really like the look of these old steam gauges. They just look really awesome, and I like using them. I think they're user-friendly enough. If you got a preference for steam gauges or for glass cockpit instrumentation and avionics, write what you like in the comments. Let me know what you like. Checking VNAV here, says about a minute and 10 seconds before our descent. So let's go ahead and get that set up in our altitude set autopilot thingy. Set that for 2,500. It says descend to target. Kill altitude hold there. And bring our vertical speed down to about 1500. A little too fast, a little too fast. There we go. We don't want to pick up too much speed, so we're going to go ahead and lean out our motor just at the bottom of the green arc there. Right there is what I'm talking about. That's where we want it sitting. And that'll keep us from building up too much speed. Okay, making that procedural turn to the right. Since we're on the descent, we'll go ahead and unsync props. Cowl flaps are open. Taxi landing lights on. We'll go ahead and keep fuel pumps on low. Let's back up. We're going to go ahead and have to change our course to 147. Got a little behind there, 147. There we go. And right off our nose there to about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. That's going to be our airfield out there. Since we're getting fairly close to the airfield, we'll go ahead and start our bringing this, getting this plane slowed down a bit. Get everything to the bottom of the green arc, keep everything nice and lean. Heading 197. And there's the turn. Love the way that landing light just cuts through all the air, and you can see the little bit of moisture, whatever that is, you know. Okay, 3,100 coming down to 2,500. Airspeed's coming down. We're about 163, it looks like. VNAV profile reminder again. It's going to tell us like 10 times on the way down. Actually, that was target altitude. I'm mistaken there. $2,500 leveling off. We're going to go ahead and give it full mixture, full props. Keeping that manifold low, we're going to get into the white arc. A little bit of traffic coming above us. Doesn't look like they're going to be any sort of factor for us. Like I said, today was a kind of a surprise. I was expecting a little bit more clouds out here, but it turned out to, again, be a pretty good night, so thankful for that. Glide slope coming in here. Once I hit the glide slope, I'm going to fly it by hand all the way in. Don't need to let the autopilot have all the fun, so. Looks like we're at the top of the white arc. I'm going to go ahead and give her the first notch of flaps there. Glide slope coming in here on our left side. We're hitting that first dot. Let's go ahead and drop our gear. Gear in transit. 3 down locked. Almost ready for descent. Autopilot coming off, and flight director coming off. Go ahead and lose a little bit of that power and start bringing her down. A little bit left, of course. We'll go ahead and get to the right. Pretty much going to treat this just like a visual approach, and then I'll just be monitoring our gauges on the way down. It's a good time for a GUMPS checklist. Gas, yeah, gas is low. Getting there, refuel when we get on the ground. Undercarriage, good. Manifold, good. Mixture, props, autopilot settings, well, autopilot's off. Seatbelts good. Before landing checklist complete. Looks like we're a little bit low of the glide slope, so we'll go ahead and just give her a little bit more juice. Still a bit left of the course, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep that right course going. There we are, extended center line. We'll turn back toward the runway. And we're looking good here. Airspeed about, looks like about 117-ish, somewhere in there. I'm gonna go ahead and drop our next notch of flaps. Keep that nose down. Airspeed looks good. Glide path looks good. Staying on that extended center line. 2 white, 2 red. Gauge is showing us good glide path. Airspeed continuing to drop. About 107 on the airspeed. Go ahead and trim it up just a little bit. Keep that threshold from climbing too high in the windscreen. I like to keep it as stationary as possible. That's what I like to do to maintain glide path. Final windage reading, let's get the weather again.
Kilo Papa Whiskey Tango automated weather observation 0800 Zulu. Wind 185 at 11. Visibility 10. Sky condition ceiling 1,700 feet overcast. Temperature 3 Celsius. Dew point 10 Celsius. Altimeter 2999er. Kilo Papa Whiskey Tango automated weather observation.
Thank you. Last notch of flaps. 2 white, 2 red. Right now the threshold is my target, but I will be transitioning that to the 1,000 footers as soon as I get a little closer. Gear down, 3 down locked and green. There we go. 1,000 footers are my aim point. To cut all that power, probably gonna float a little bit past it. Hopefully we don't. Power down, maintain center. perfectly center on the landing, but was really trying to not sideload the aircraft. So if I could land just a little bit to the right of it and not sideload, I'll take that. That's a safe landing. Flaps coming up. Taxiway coming up here on our right side. Welcome to Port Orchard. Clear the runway, we'll go ahead and get it cleaned up. Flaps are already up. Oh, we still had one more notch there. Flaps all the way up, strobes coming off, and landing lights coming off. We'll just taxi to parking, clear on the right, clear on the left. Go ahead and park over here in the fuel pits. We'll come at it on the right there. Once again, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this evening's flight from Olympia to Port Orchard. Once again, my name is Eric, and this has been Cloud Hopper. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we will see you next time.